As the Coachella Valley continues to grow as an entertainment and cultural empire in the California desert cities, Mutual 111 is your go-to for local and regional arts, literature, music, special events, and theater. From the Mutual Broadcasting System studios in Palm Springs, it's The Desert Scene with Bonnie G.
And welcome to The Desert Scene. So happy to have you here today. And we are happy to welcome as our guest on this episode, Dimitri Halkidis. I hope I'm saying that correctly. He's going to talk to us about Boo2 Bullying, the 10th anniversary. Hi, Dimitri. How are you?
Hi, Bonnie. You said it correctly. Thank you.
Oh, good. I don't like to butcher people's names, so I'm glad I got it right.
Oh, you did a good job.
Thank you. So tell us about this event. Bullying is so current, a really hot topic these days. So tell us about this event, 10th anniversary. So have you been involved every year with it?
Yeah, it's not the 10th anniversary of the event. It's the 10th anniversary of Boo2 Bullying.
Okay.
Yes, I'm the founder and president, and we started back in 2013 when we got our 501c3, and we're we've been relevant in the Coachella Valley, Los Angeles, around the counties that we serve, and also worldwide. We've been actually very active with doing programs as far as Nairobi, Kenya, Greece, and a few other countries.
Wow. So what made you so passionate about this issue to start this organization?
I think, to be perfectly honest, it wasn't about my own bullying that I endured when I was a young kid, and it was very different when I was growing up. It was more about being, currently, back then, 2012, and a little earlier, seeing so many kids going through being outed and not feeling safe at school, and just, now, put phones into the play, and you have cyberbullying, and it stays, it's not only at school anymore. It continues at home, and it trickles down back into the school system, and it keeps going around and around. So I think my passion came from listening to horrible headliners like Tyler Clemente jumping off the George Washington Bridge for being outed at college, Matthew Shepard stories, and even in our own backyard with the little boy up in Moreno Valley that was pushed. They say let boys be boys, and one boy falls down and hit his head, and then he dies. So, there's such bullying leads to not only suicide, but also to repetitive belittling and controlling by the person that's doing the bullying. So I thought it was really important to empower youth, to educate them, not only them, but their parents and the community on looking out for signs. And also, we're really about, I want all kids to feel safe in school, no matter where you're from. I'm an immigrant kid, so a lot of it has to do with that. And I just want kids to feel safe, and they should know they can, and they're not alone.
Right. And I believe it's the anniversary is coming up in a couple of weeks of Matthew Shepard's death, I think. Big anniversary.
It's big anniversary. Yes, you're correct.
Yeah. So has there been any progress in schools, like in local public schools dealing? I know that the schools have to get really involved in this because a lot of it happens at school.
It happens, schools do as much as they can. They do have, I'm not speaking for all schools, but I know in our Coachella Valley, and I think mostly a lot of schools have different platforms that they can report it anonymously. They don't have to feel like they're outing anybody. And also the kids that want to report it, that don't want to be targeted, so
Right.
There are apps that you can report it. But again, no one wants to get a kid in trouble. They don't want to be known. They don't want to be outed. They're just scared. They're even scared to talk to their principal. And yes, schools are involved. They do as much as they can within the curriculum. And I think it's important to say schools are our best friends, because with admin and teachers that get us into the schools, it's very important to bring outside sources, and that's not easy at times.
Yeah.
To try to, bring an outside source and also take time away from their curriculum that they're doing. So I think and also a lot of it has to play with, coming out of COVID and post-COVID, there was a lot of teachers that didn't go back to school. They retired. There was a lot
Right.
of, in any profession, there was so many changeovers. And then also schools, like any other business, had to get acclimated right back into, okay, how do we move forward in keeping everybody safe? So I think we've passed that hurdle, and we're so proud that we have, as much as we kept busy last year, this season, school season, is even more busier for us because so many more schools are able to hold assemblies,
right?
To be able to bring outside sources. And, Bonnie, the greatest thing about our programs are free.
Yeah.
It's because of special friends that are listening right now that whether they donate a $5 or $1,000, no matter what the amount, it all goes into the same purpose. It's to our initiative programs to prevent bullying, to prevent suicide, and really empower our youth. Are there laws on the books or any legislation on the books or pending or that you would like to see to address this issue as well? The great question. There are, this year we're trying to educate not only the kids to know that there are laws in place. That's the bizarre thing. Parents that have taken that into their own hands. And listen, some parents are more advocates than others.
Yeah.
And there are laws in place for protecting kids already. And I think that's also important to be educating parents in the community about because, without those laws in place, and those were done here in California, I think every person should know, and every student or any parent should know what their laws are for their own unified school district, as well as their own town and the state that they live in. It is so important because the resources are out there. And, it irks me when, to know that there's so many resources out there that people don't utilize. And that goes from legislation all the way down to even trying to getting help or assistance or reaching out to anybody. So, yes, there are laws in place. Would we like to see them, be strengthened? Yes, of course. There's some new ones that have been added. And, we always say to kids, it's easier to buy followers if you want to be popular. Go buy followers. It's $10 for 20,000 people rather than orchestrating some crazy, whatever the plot is, to gain followers, to harm someone. You think it's funny. It's not. There's consequences. Like I spoke earlier, Moreno Valley, 4 boys were involved. I believe 4. I could be wrong. It could be 3. One of them died from just fooling around, and all 3 were bullying one.
Yeah.
So that community was torn upside down. Not only the school district, not only the small community, the parents of the bully, the parents of the deceased boy, just the entire community mourned like the loss of so many. And I believe those kids were being tried as an adult, all 3 of them. So there are laws in place. There are ways of reporting it. I always say document it. And also let's not misunderstand what bullying is, what bullying really is. Bullying is someone that is continuously harassing you or belittling you, or whether it's on the phone, cyber, whether it's through playing games, whether it's verbally in person. It's a continuous act of being mean. Is bullying. It's not like you and I, Bonnie, we're going to go out and say, oh, I want to go for Chinese. No, I want to go Italian. It's not, we're having a disagreement.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for, and this goes for adults, to understand, let's not use the word bullying so loosely, because it's okay to have a disagreement with a friend. We constantly say that to our youth. And it's okay when you're in a sport, competitive, any type of sport, to feel that's not bullying. You're being in a competitive sport. And if you don't like it, don't be in it.
Dimitri,
it's very simple.
I want to just make sure we get in the event that's coming up, right? Saturday, September 30th, 8:30 to 2, a free community wellness festival and celebrity kickball game at Sunrise Park. Tell us a little bit about that.
I am so excited. So Boo2 Bullying is our 10th anniversary, and we are hosting with some beautiful community partners and our sponsors like James McMillan, Contour Dermatology, City of Palm Springs, Bighorn, Walter Clark, just to name a few. are helping us put this free event together for our beautiful community, for our kids and families to come out to enjoy our community partners from the Boys and Girls Club, the First Tee, and a few others to enjoy a morning to an afternoon with a mobile zoo, ice cone, hot dogs, and a celebrity kickball game that includes Jack Griffo from Nickelodeon, Tara Reid from The Big Lebowski, and a few others like Sharknado, Brittany Serpy from The Young and the Restless, and the list goes on. And some of our local firefighters and police are going to join us, as well as our amazing Palm Springs team with our own Tatum from the KSQ news reporter. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun a game on Saturday, September 30th. It's free. You just have to register. Even if you don't register, you can register when you get there. And it's just a fun event at the most beautiful park, which is the Parks and Recreation there on Sunrise, the Pavilion. And then the game is at the varsity baseball field right across the street in the Palm Springs High School. So it is just a community fun event.
And you can register. Go to Boo, B-O-O, numeral 2, boo2bowling.org/events. Is that where they would go register?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, and they could just click on a button and go and register, and it's free.
Well, it sounds like a really wonderful event, a lot of fun, and such an important issue. It's just really such an important issue. And I mean, can be life and death. Oftentimes it is life and death. So thank you for putting together this organization and bringing more attention to the issue, because we can't have enough.
Can I mention one more thing that's very important? I think if you don't know, your viewers and listeners should know. The Coachella Valley has the highest rate of suicide, as much as the national rate.
Wow.
It is very important for us as a community, no matter what community you live in, to be aware of our youth. And whether it's your grandchildren or your own kids, just be aware of signs. I think it's so important.
Absolutely. Dimitri Halkidis, got that right. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Congratulations
Mommy, you're amazing.
Well, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. And it's such an important issue, and I think the event's going to be wonderful. Thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Of course. Have a beautiful day. Thank you, Bonnie.
You too. We'll see you next time on The Desert Scene.
Join us again for The Desert Scene with Bonnie G. from Mutual 111. Be sure to visit thedesertscene.com for more show information and mutual111.com for our full library of episodes.